Now, as for Drake and Kendrick Lamar, before we continue, please make sure you like and subscribe if you're prepared to witness the biggest hoax, fake, phony, and liar in hip-hop reveal more of the truth that he has been trying to conceal for so long. Given the most recent information circulating regarding Drake's streaming stats and the legitimacy of his whole discography, things do not appear to be going well for him. And if you thought that things were already awful, well, from Drake becoming more fake to Kendrick Lamar's success just becoming more confirmed as genuine, please like and subscribe so that everyone can see how dreary old Lubbery is simply disintegrating in every way. And with that said, the one thing about Angle that, for some reason, the entire fan base behind this crash out has never been attracted to is the notion that Kendrick Lamar has been fabricating his streaming numbers and that everything he has is essentially made up in terms of his numerical success. This has again led to some of the worst takes and failed gotcha moments that demonstrate how poorly the OVO community understands the situation. The boost and drop-off from all of the new listeners who tuned into the biggest broadcast of the year in the Super Bowl do not correlate and make sense with these numbers in general, so when you see them attempting to compare Kendrick's monthly listener count from after the Super Bowl to now, you wonder why his monthly listeners dropped off from over 110 million to being in the 80 million range. Nevertheless, despite all of the efforts made by Spotify and other platforms to try and eliminate fake streams and ensure that everyone's numbers are real, something that all of these platforms have been doing more and more of collectively, and Spotify in particular, things like this and the numerous attempts that are just blatantly arbitrary and made up are now history. Kendrick's statistics have remained constant throughout all of this and the removal of all the musicians. As a testament to the fact that Kendrick has produced one of the most genuine crops of superstardom that you could ever have, his numbers have remained unaltered and unfazed despite the most recent instance of this, which is probably not surprising if you're here. As you can see, Kendrick is performing in stadiums like never before. He recently began the Grand National Tour's Euro portion, and he is rocking one of the largest stadiums in Cologne, Germany. Sincerely, it's funny that Drake fans are so naive that they are attempting to claim with a straight face that Kendrick Lamar and his numbers are solely supported by fictitious statistics when you have this moment where you compare reality with these strange narratives and failed gotcha moments. Given Kendrick Lamar's current status and his current run, it is impossible to reach this level of success without leaving one of the greatest musical legacies in decades. Thus, Kendrick Lamar has once again seen no problems with his library being streamed. Naturally, the hits like Luther and Not Like Us are still there, as is everything else, since Kendrick has repeatedly warned all of these losers, you can try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Now, while Kendrick is good, let's talk about cheating as much as you can and manipulating the game. You're not shocked, I mean. Since Spotify's stats appear to have changed recently, this leads us to Limo Lubbery and everything he is doing at the moment. In the hip-hop lane, where these issues typically don't have an impact on hip-hop per se, 3 well-known rap artists were all investigated and are all seeing declines in their streaming numbers. And they were none other than Drake, Kanye, and Nicki Minaj. Now that all 3 of these artists are involved, the whole thing is startling. Even when you see someone like Kanye, who has struggled in his career like few others ever do, you can see that he hasn't had any industry backing for a long time. Sincerely, you question what is going on with him in his catalog and what impression they are attempting to convey when you notice that he is falsifying numbers. However, the removal of streams that appear to be originating from Drake is obviously bigger than that and will have the biggest impact on the entire situation because of where the industry is at the moment. First of all, it's amusing enough that early statistics and inspections of what has been deleted show that Aubrey's followers are once again acting like that other red hat-wearing fan club of individuals who can't tolerate that type of accountability or realism, and as a result, they constantly avoid responsibility by claiming that their rival is the one who is losing everything they are losing. Naturally, that isn't the case. And it's just a pitiful and depressing diversion from what they're doing to escape reality after becoming more and more ashamed of who they are right now. All of that is to say that when you take a step back, remove the hat, and consider what these people will have to deal with, whether they like it or not, you will see that Drake streams are being examined and questioned and that things are not going as they should. Even if it is amusing to observe Drake's authenticity being questioned, it is also evident that the figures he concealed were phony, as that was the last thing he had left to preserve his ego. Well, generally speaking, and in light of everything that is happening in the Not Like Us suit in particular. For Drake, this is the point at which your decisions truly come back to haunt you and cause you to regret them. As Drake and his team whine in rooms, they are attempting to assert that at least 10% of Not Like Us success came from fake streams. This figure may even be higher because of the influence of the fake listeners, who they say encouraged real listeners to keep listening to the songs because of their own delusions. The whole Drake lawsuit is based on the idea that the streaming figures were phony, not the fans of the most visually striking back and forth in rap history, which is what made the song so popular. In light of this, Drake is the one who may soon lose a large number of his streams, based on their detections, even though they are making these claims about Kendrick and Not Us, and his catalog is still unaltered. The flimsy old curtain that has been concealing Drake and all of his industry techniques to actually simply grift everyone is flaring up more than ever, and when we look at Drake's odd history as a whole, we see a lot of things related to his relationship with streaming platforms, from making his music available everywhere to playing his songs so frequently that they have remained on the charts due to features like autoplay. We are seeing this with Apple Music right now, particularly as they release their top 500 most streamed songs of all time, and we look at the charts to this day, where you see a song like For Free still getting a lot of streams, for example. To be as high as it is, if you use the platform, it is merely due to a technology like autoplay that will play these Drake songs repeatedly without any explanation. All things considered, these streamers are now being investigated further, and the platforms are being dismantled to examine the data and delve deeper into the veracity of everything. It appears that Drake is not engaging in stream fraud in the same manner as other up-and-coming musicians, particularly in the K-pop genre, which is the worst offender of these issues overall. There, they essentially just fabricate streams to give the appearance that someone is well-liked. Additionally, you can really develop momentum inside the genre's culture, which is essentially the music industry's equivalent of fake it till you make it. Naturally, Drake is not doing anything like that. Rather, he is using his reputation as a star and the pedestal that was placed upon him at the beginning of the streaming industry to produce trendy slop. This was evident from the beginning of these platforms' full-on prominence, which was primarily based on views. Since then, Drake has been selling out more and more for Strange Trends, which was actually a turning point. The way it seems now is that Drake was so comfortable releasing so much music so often and doing pretty much anything in the most versatile grift we have ever seen that the industry's farms and fake tricks used Drake's music to give the impression that he had a musical dynasty that always seemed so much stronger than ever before. This is evident now as we see Drake's numbers decline and even other artists lose streams. The truth that we are now confronting, however, is that the men who claim to be the biggest stars and to have the greatest songs were actually the ones who were fabricating the current level of popularity, which you tell me just seems odd and indicative of the fact that for at least 10 years, if not more, for so long, the playing field in music has likely been uneven because of the truly awful and extremely off-putting things that are happening behind the scenes with Drake OVO and everything surrounding them. And to watch Drake's fans rise as they come to terms with this and become more depressed than before. The extent to which you can manage and dominate a group of individuals is both off-putting. However, it's kind of funny because the Drake case is reaching this really unpleasant stage, and it's obvious that we are going to a part of the suit where we will learn a lot more about everything, including things that Drake doesn't like about us since he is trying to delve into that. In the end, though, they will learn about Drake's artistic abilities and particularly how he has maintained the system that we have all witnessed for years. To be quite honest, I do believe that the labels and streaming services are aware that the Drake feud is about to conclude and are getting ready for it. Therefore, it is unclear if UMG was the ones who ensured that these figures were verified, if they did something incorrectly to cause the system to recognize Drake's catalog and how phony it might be, or if the platforms are simply fed up with Drake making demands that Prime MJ or the Beatles would never fulfill. I believe that Drake has made far too many enemies, including some of the most influential figures in the business. And once more, this isn't because he is a cool hero advocating for all artists. He is this insufferable dweeb who doesn't know the value of his own possessions, which is why. And when you really think about it, perhaps everyone here is at fault since Drake has been led to believe that songs like Girls Want Girls Slime You Out, and a ton of other awful songs are okay. And perform well because of these platforms and labels. Well, they gave Drake this misconception that he views terrible as wonderful, which is why we are here today and he is only acting in the worst ways. However, it will be amusing to watch how far Spotify takes this as they attempt to validate these systemic problems and then permanently remove the phony streams. The music business will be genuinely startled if the streamers and systems finally take action against Drake and reveal that the man who believes he has been in charge for 15 years was really only operating a glorified streaming farm the entire time, and if even half of this is accurate, Drake and everyone else will appear more gritty than before. At the same time, Kendrick Lamar will only appear better than ever for acting as a genuine voice at a time when the most successful musicians are outright frauds. So, after all of this, tell me what you think about the most recent feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, their streaming numbers, what's at stake for both of them, and how this will ultimately impact the Not Like Us case as a whole. It seems like it's influencing every moment these artists have right now simply because of the stakes of what this will all mean for the industry. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on all of this now. If you watched the entire video, you are now aware of what to do. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And I just wanted to say thank you for helping me hit 100,000 subscribers if you haven't seen any of my videos lately and this is the first one you're watching. It has a lot of meaning. And once more, if you haven't subscribed yet, do so immediately, so you may assist us in reaching 200, as that is where we intend to go next. As you can see, things got so terrible with Drake's lawsuit that I kind of lost my words just before this. And I do believe that Drake might wind up winning this case if things keep going the way they are. Then, everything will really come to an end in a way that none of us could have anticipated or desired in the slightest. Watch the recommended video.